This episode of the Nerd Corporation podcast may contain spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, nerds. This is Wacko, and you're listening to the Nerd Corp podcast because you know what's worth listening to. Bye.
We are the Nerd Corporation.
What up, everybody? It's podcast day. My name is Eddie Lyon, a.k.a. your girlfriend's favorite paranormal entity. With me, as always, is Cole Simper.
Like Zoink Scoob, I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
DEFCON.
Oh, God.
Nick Lewis.
I pushed my fingers into my ass, or whatever Slipknot said.
Derek Reese.
Hey, Scoob!
And Angela Wooden.
Ruh-roh.
It's a theme. There's a theme going on here.
Except for Nick,
Eddie, if
loser.
you were a paranormal entity, you could drum up so much business for me.
Right? I would totally be like, hey, all right.
That's like our little thing that I keep saying at our investigations. I'm like, okay, if somebody on this team dies, you better come back and talk to us.
Plot twist, somebody's already dead.
Blow people's minds.
Give me 10% to my estate. You know what I mean? And we are the Nerd Corporation. Welcome to episode 169.
Nice.
Nice. The Haunting of Freeling House. We are going to be talking about the 1982 horror classic Poltergeist. But first, let's get on with the nerd news.
My news is that Ludwig has made bidets, and I need to buy one immediately because they're only $50. And I saw the video where he snuck into people's houses and installed the really good ones without them knowing.
The $500 ones?
Yeah, but I don't know. I've never fucking had one, and the other ones are always $100, $200, and he's like, "This one's only $50," and I was like,
They're interesting.
Life-changing.
Yeah, I think we got ours for $29.
Life-changing. Turn every poop into a one-white poop. And isn't that the dream?
"Yes, that is the dream."
So, Marvel Studios has announced that they are planning to introduce every major mutant from X-Men hour-long Disney Plus specials.
Dude, that's fucking dope.
So yeah, we're just going to get a bunch of one-offs to introduce people to the characters, which is really cool, especially if they, use any that might be considered obscure.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that totally opens them up for being able to use these characters. And also, in the past, the reason that a lot of studios don't take chances on characters like that is because they assume that people won't go see the movie because they don't know the character.
Yeah.
I'm more talking about DC in that case because Marvel always kind of likes to take risks here and there. But still, this completely eradicates that. If you just give them a little one-off and then pull them into everything you're doing, no fucking problem.
Dude, Disney Plus is a juggernaut.
Right.
When it comes to shit like that. When it comes to just the next chapter of anything. Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, anything like that. I feel like Disney Plus has become this just giant monolith.
Right.
Of fucking content. Yep. That you can do, that they are doing everything right with.
Right. Well, and that's the other thing too. It's a huge help, I think, to the audience in terms of, with Thor, Love and Thunder, right? We have some characters in there that we have no backstory for.
Right.
You can't really fit that into a movie in a way that doesn't feel phoned in or shoehorned into the movie.
Right.
So this gives you backstory, origin. It gets you like
Hard. It gets you hard.
It gets you, it gets you a really nice introduction to the character, so it's someone you care about.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, instead of trying to just force it in, and hopefully you get enough character arc in there that people give a shit.
Right, because when you compact so many characters that so many people are familiar with, you're going to lose one of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're going to just be like, well, I don't really care about this one because there's no, real...
Well, and where you've got, I mean, all of these movies, there are a couple of characters that you do have time to focus on, and those are going to be your primary characters.
Right.
Anyone else, even secondary but definitely tertiary characters, are just going to fall by the wayside in terms of giving, like, the audience a good connection to that character.
Like, could you imagine if this kind of platform was back in the early aughts when the X-Men movies came out? Dude,
Right.
we would have gotten so much more Kelsey Grammer Beast.
Oh, yeah.
We would have gotten
Nightcrawler.
We would have gotten way more Nightcrawler. Like, I'm really excited for this is a super smart idea.
Oh, yeah, totally. And so, of course, you know, by doing that, obviously, I'm sure the intent is to lead into X-Men movies. Like, you know, obviously.
Does it say if they're going to do it like say how they are doing like the She-Hulk like every week, or is it just going to be like all out?
Yeah, it doesn't say. I mean, and I don't think it would be like that. I don't think it's going to be like a what if where like it's a series of one-offs for different stories.
I mean, it would make sense though. Still,
I mean, it could be. It totally could be. But I think it's going to be more like Werewolf by Night, where it's just its own thing, and that's it. You know?
I think that would be cool too, though.
But which, by the way, Werewolf by Night was dope.
Hell yeah,
it was really, really cool. I liked it a lot.
I mean, I would totally watch it if it was like just a
kind of like an
bunch of
anthology
episodes. Like here's not really saying like season 1, episode 1, but just like episode 1, 2, 3.
Well, and I'm sure they'll have like whether it's episodic exactly or not. I'm sure they'll just have it in its own little category, and you just
yeah.
But
big W.
Totally. And so like it makes it way more fun to see them on the big screen when that happens, you know, because you already have that connection. But yeah. I mean, with that announcement, like, that's got to be imminent.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
You know, this isn't something that's too far off, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that's my news.
Oh yeah. We'd like to take some time at this moment to remember all of the people that have passed since our last episode. Robbie Coltrane, who plays Hagrid in the Harry Potter series, has passed away.
And what from what I have seen, like, what a beautiful dude. Like, what a nice
Yeah.
dude.
There was this one meme that I saw where it was like it was him having an interview, and he goes, I'm not going to be here in 50 years, sadly, but Hagrid will be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm paraphrasing, but that was like tugged at my heartstrings,
Yeah.
and I'm not even cool with Harry Potter like that.
The way that I took it was like, yeah, it's sad because the actor himself, Robbie Coltrane, passed away, but like Hagrid
Lives forever.
hasn't passed away. Like,
Yeah.
Hagrid will never pass away.
Mm-hmm.
Hagrid was always a favorite character of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Very comforting character.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
They like they hit the nail on the head when he was in the first movie. Like as far as Hagrid looked in my mind when I was reading the books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so weird to see pictures of him without the beard, though.
Yeah. Different dude.
Yeah. But yeah, and then Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, Angela
yeah.
Lansbury.
I mean, bed knobs and broomsticks, come on, son.
Did she really write any murder?
No, she was the... God. It's like you don't know anything.
You were
It's
waiting.
a good question.
You were fucking waiting on that one, were you son of a bitch?
Oh, he 100% was.
He had that motherfucker cocked back.
He's
No,
like,
but-
please say Angela Lansbury.
Dude,
please
bed
say
knobs and
Angela
broomsticks was
Lansbury.
the shit.
Yeah, dude. Rest in peace to an icon.
Mrs. Potts.
Another icon was Art LeBeau. He was an American DJ. He was one of the bigger like radio personalities. He was credited with coining the term oldies but goodies. Love that guy. Loved him. He was big influence.
Oh yeah.
So rest in peace to all three iconic humans, and much love and condolences to their families.
I have 3 things of note. The first one is really fast. Chainsaw Man has debuted. It is fucking awesome.
I do want to watch
It is phenomenally animated. It is, goddamn, do we have something
Is it
fucking
on
special?
Crunchyroll?
Yes.
Okay, because I've been trying to figure out where it's on.
It is not dubbed yet. It's only sub.
Pretty much everything comes to Crunchyroll, but then there's like the one every so often that Disney or Hulu will take on, like.
I was gonna say, I thought I saw it on Hulu.
Bleach 100 year or 1,000 year blood arc.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you not watch it on Hulu then?
I don't think so. No,
Oh.
I think it's like exclusively.
Well, why the
on
hell did
Crunchyroll.
they show it to me on Hulu?
I have no idea.
Maybe it was an ad for Crunchyroll.
Oh, maybe.
Like a combo or something.
You can watch like that on Hulu, can't you?
So
Like,
there are some anime that are licensed to multiple companies, or like for instance, Inuyasha, the first 2 seasons, I don't know if it's still on there, but the first 2 seasons were licensed to Netflix, but then all of it was on Hulu. So stuff like that.
Interesting.
But anything owned by Sentai Filmworks is a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah. Jaw-droppingly fucking good. It's just, and I read the manga, and it's fucking. We're in for something really special.
Just the still that they used for the splash page or whatever, like, was fucking dope. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. It's the next big thing. If I have anything to say about it. Also, niche win for all those out there that really like Junji Ito. They finally are doing another collection, another collab, this time with Netflix, so the money will be there. The animation.
January 19th.
The one with Toonami still hasn't aired.
I'm really huffing hopium with this. I'm hoping that they do this shit justice, because that first anime was not good, like, at all. The first episode was fine, and then everything else was just like...
You talking about the collection?
Yeah, the Junji Ito collection that was like on Crunchyroll.
Dude, the only one that I really like took away with remembrance from that was the model. Like that one will still get to me.
I know, and that's how fucking scary that story is.
Yeah,
is like it was so poorly adapted, and it was still fucking horrifying. I can't remember which one of the books has the model in it, but she appears a few times, actually. She's like, I don't want to say she's Tomie level, like she doesn't show up that much, but
yeah,
she's kind of a reoccurring character in Ito's work, which is really cool. But very, very, very excited. Fuck yeah.
I am too. I saw that and I was like, fucking...
Tales of the Macabre.
Yeah.
Looks fucking rad, dude. And
I
then
believe it's pronounced macabre.
Macabre.
Macrobee.
Macrame?
Macrame. This is where we store the macrame.
The biggest news dropped like an hour ago or 2 ago. Konami is now very willing to talk about Silent Hill. They're doing they're doing a Resident Evil showcase type deal, but for Silent Hill.
A Silent Hill transmission.
And goddamn, is it about fucking time?
When is that?
That'll be Wednesday.
The 19th.
So you probably already heard it or seen it by this time.
You saw Silent Hill 2 remake, or you saw Silent Hill whatever, or you saw Kojima and all the heads of Konami shaking hands and saying bygones are bygones, and we're going to finally do Silent Hills again. And PT is available to download again worldwide, now upgraded for the PS5 version.
I don't think you saw any of that, but...
Comment how much Cole was right on all of our socials.
The biggest rumor is that first one is right. They are remaking Silent Hill 2, but they are doing it with Blooper Team, which I'm not real thrilled about. Blooper Team just barely did that the Medium game where it like
that was a good game.
Did you like them?
Honestly, I love that game.
Really?
Like,
okay.
It was really cool because you would, you'd be playing in the normal world, and then when you go into like your medium abilities, it would split the screen and show you in the real world and then in the spirit world, and you had to like interact.
Yeah.
It was a really
it like rendered both worlds simultaneously.
Yeah, I loved it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's a cool idea. Hopefully this is a nice hey, we've been working on this for a long time and it is ready and it is gonna happen next the middle of next year or something. I hope it's like really right away. I hope it's not something like a
Forget about all that Kojima shit. Pay attention to us again, please.
I mean, that's just what they're going to have to do to survive this, like trying to come back, because everybody's got, you know, you can't spell Konami with an FUC in front of it. You know, like it's Konami really burned a lot of bridges. There's a lot of people that don't even want to give them the second chance, so they really got to show out for this thing.
Konami burned a lot of Sam bridges.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really have any news, but just like a quick, like very quick, what you playing? Cole and I downloaded a game called Madison. It's on most platforms, I think. That game is a absolute sleeper hit.
Is it Madison with a 2 N's and a Y, but not
Not
where you think?
Not where you
Not where you
think.
think. No, it's Madison with a lowercase I.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It is really unique because it finds little ways to constantly fuck with you, and it's very obviously inspired by PT. Like, it's one of those games that came out after PT that was like, oh, you know, we're trying to cash in on that cachet, but it's
But also like very
competently made. Like, it's a good game.
and like Resident Evil, Outlast-esque vibes where you don't have a weapon. You just
Very nice.
have
Resident
stuff.
Evil 7
Yeah.
type, yeah.
A lot of puzzles.
So I initially bought it on the deck because it said it was verified. And then Angela and I were sitting there playing it. I got the deck running on the TV, so now we can play whatever's on there. And so I was like, okay, cool. So we'll get, you know, Madison on Steam, and I'll just do it through there. And I go on there, and it says, oh, yeah, it's verified. It's been tested by Valve and will work. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I started it up. It had some issues with frame timing. Like, it couldn't fucking hold steady 60 to save its life. And then about a half an hour in, we were seeing some steady dips down to like 45, 40. I think the lowest I saw was 39, but I don't know. But it never stayed consistent. So it was just kind of jarring all the time. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really think anything of it because it was only $35. And I'm like, okay, that kind of fits the bill here. You know, like it makes sense as a budget title. And we get to this one part, and it just fucking tanks the game. It goes down to like 4 to 5 frames per second. Like,
But all the sound is still going on, and we're like, what is happening?
it was so bad, dude. Like, complete. And then it crashed. It didn't crash the game, but it crashed the deck OS. So it went to my OS, but the game was still running, and I had like no control over anything on the deck.
Yeah.
Wow.
This game like really fucking bricked the shit out of the deck for a second.
Oh my god.
And I couldn't do really anything. And my
a true horror game.
my
Right?
fan,
Well, no, I was like, oh, Madison. Like, what if this is like a
Doki Doki situation.
Yeah, exactly.
that's what I was thinking it was. Is that it was another moment where the game was fucking with me.
Right.
And it just wasn't. It just was dog shit. And so I got a refund, which is my very first in history, my very first refunded Steam game. So I haven't got that money yet back, but I'm waiting for that. I went and bought it on PlayStation.
Well, we originally didn't get it on PlayStation because the stupid app was like, oh yeah, PS4. And we were like, it's like a brand new game that's only on PS4. And then we ended up finding it on PS5.
And I was kind of enamored with the idea of playing it with mouse and keyboard. So I was like, and which you could totally do. I could totally, if I still had that version, I could plug in, the little hub that I'm using has 3 USB ports. So I can just plug in my wireless keyboard and my wireless mouse.
Yeah.
Literally play the deck just like that. But I'm happy to report that the PS5 version is way better, but the frame timing is fucking awful. Like, it's everywhere. Like, you just see frame drops all the time. You go into a new area, frame drop. You go into, like, you pick up an item, frame
I think
drop.
it catches up fast, though.
It catches up. Like, it's competent, but it's noticeable for sure. But
Dude, that's what Elden Ring on PC all the fucking time. Like, I'd just be running, and it would just like everything would just stop, and then it would like for like
So
2 seconds.
yeah, so why it did that is because that PC port, FromSoft for some reason just can't fucking handle PC ports. There's always something wrong, and apparently it was so fucking broken. That's why we can't get it on Bloodborne on PC. Is because that game is just so fucking wildly tied to the PS4's architecture that it just won't play anywhere else.
Madison is a good game. It's a lower price title. Check it out.
When Elden Ring first came out, that port was so bad that every time a new asset was loaded in, it would skip like that. So every time that a new thing that you had never seen was being loaded in, it just would like skip a frame. But every time after that, every time it had to render that same object again, it just never did it. So once you saw everything in the game, it would never do it again.
Damn.
Real quick, we should also mention the Blade lost its director and has been postponed for at least like another year or two.
Well, not only that, but also the
Blade, Deadpool 3 is indefinite, and Secret Wars got
what's his
way
name?
into the future.
Mahershala Ali
Mahershala Ali
is just talking mad shit about like how bad it is on set. Like apparently it's just like a real pain in the ass to get anything done. Doesn't sound too hopeful for the Blade movie.
sounds like a big L on Marvel's part. Speaking of, I would like to hand out the
Nerdcorp L of the Week
to Warner Brothers Studios Montreal. We got the news that one of the devs was saying that because of all of the untethered co-op and the expansive map, that we will not be getting a performance toggle feature, that we will be a dedicated 30 frames per second.
Which doesn't make sense because they're leaving last gen in the dust. Like it's next gen only, and you're telling me that I guess a PS4 could run this game perfectly.
Right.
Like,
right. You're using Unreal 4.
Yeah.
And in 2022, you're going to tell me that, nope, dedicated 30 FPS.
You're going to tell me that a shrimp fried this rice?
So basically, the way that I read this situation is that there was 100% a PS4 version, and it had priority. It had the priority over the PS5 version because I think that resources were not being used to go towards a performance mode. It was because that wasn't going to be fucking possible on the PS4. So this is just a byproduct of initially starting development on those older gen consoles. And so now, you know what I mean? Because it seems like I would much rather you just push the game back for however long it's going to take you to do this because 30 frames on that console is absolutely unacceptable.
And it's, what, coming out in 4 days?
About 5, yeah. So it'll be, we record on Sundays. It'll be up this Friday as of the date of this recording.
So hopefully you didn't buy it because
I did. I fucking pre-ordered the deluxe edition.
I know when I go onto the PlayStation store and look at it, it's like friends who pre-ordered one Nerdcorp podcast.
I would imagine that the backlash is so bad from this that they will eventually add some kind of performance mode, but I wouldn't plan on it anytime fucking
I'm
soon.
sure like after a year it'll be patched out.
My biggest question is what the fuck are they doing on PC? No fucking chance are you capping that on at 30 on fucking PC.
There's no way.
And what a bullshit fucking reason too. Like all the fucking like the network and the co-op and all that shit. Get the fuck.
There's no excuse for that, and I'll say again because it's coming to next gen consoles and PC, which can easily handle that. Like
very easily. I don't know. There's nothing I saw in that gameplay that was like too visually demanding that was like it has to stay at 30. I'm like, nah, that sounds like y'all motherfuckers are trying to get this out as fast as possible and you couldn't. Again, I feel like it's just like it was part of the DNA of starting out this game is like, hey, it's going to be then. And then maybe it was because I remember Rocksteady's been in some shit with development hell, right? This is Rocksteady, right? Or no, this is Montreal. Mm-hmm. We've been waiting on Montreal's game for a long fucking time, right? Since since that Arkham game, the one in the wintertime?
Arkham Origins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that WB
so.
Montreal's last game? Bro, that was so fucking long ago. That was Wii U. That was on the Wii U.
That was, I want to say, like 2008, maybe?
There's something funky, man. It makes me think that the game was being in development on PS4, ran into some development issues, and then all of a sudden when the PS5 started circulating, it's like, oh, okay, we can start doing stuff there. And then they had massive issues with the fucking PS4 version because that software is, obviously obsolete at this point in terms of what they're trying to do.
It was October 25th, 2013. So it's like almost to the date.
10 fucking years ago, dude.
Yeah.
God damn. So that's what I say. That's what I think is that it seems like there was some kind of development issue with a PS4 title. And then when the 5 came out, when all of the dev kits got sent out, right? The dev kits for the PS5 versions of games. And so now developers have that tool set to start developing for PS5. I think that it was very obviously a PS4 game that is being shipped over onto PS5 because, and this is just conjecture, obviously, but it seems like that is clearly that's so ridiculous. That's so fucking ridiculous. 2 years. We are 2 years into this fucking console generation. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
So,
Dude,
yes.
Push it to Q1. Like, I would be totally fine.
I
with
would
that.
not care.
Yeah.
I would not care.
You're going to get slaughtered. In Q1, you're going to get slaughtered.
Oh, yeah, true.
I mean, most of 2023, you're going to get slaughtered.
Good point, yeah.
But maybe like a summer game. Maybe you could slip it in there.
Yeah.
That would be a cool time to release that
I would
game.
fucking wait for it. But we'll see what happens. I'll let y'all know.
So 30 frames is very obviously still playable. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's for peasants. But, it's the way that things work. But, like, I wish that you would just have the candor with me and tell me that it's like, hey, man, this is this and this is that and this is the reason why. And I think you would still get, like, you would lose 1/3 less of the people that were hyped for this game. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, it's obvious that they're going to do some kind of patch in the near future that introduces fidelity options and frame rate options. Like,
right.
That's just how it's going to go. But you have God of War doing exactly what you should be doing in a month from now. And, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, obviously not Eddie, but I'm going to go with Ragnarok over something like Gotham Knights.
Right. WB Montreal. Shame on you. Before we get into the subject of the hour, if you're listening on YouTube, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that little bell notification. Want to beat the algorithm and get into as many nerdy ears as possible. Also, we have a Reddit, r/nerdcorp podcast. Tell us you love us. Tell us you hate us. Tell us we suck. Just come talk to us.
If you're there, please sound off. I'm always looking. I know I'm terrible about putting stuff on there, but it's been a rough month. So have some sympathy, okay? Please. Okay, thank you.
If you love us and want to support what we do, consider subscribing to our Patreon, patreon.com/nerdcorp podcast. Several tiers of loot to have access to, from stickers and shirts to extra content and bonus episodes. If you can't make a monthly contribution, consider supporting us on PayPal, paypal.me/nerdcorp podcast. We want to have the best loot, give you the best giveaways, and give you the best nerdy experience, and that is the best way to do that. Watch for our merch coming to Redbubble soon.
Ooh. Making a switch, huh?
Yeah, we're going to make the switch from TeePublic to Redbubble.
Make sure to grab that NWO NCP shirt the second you see it.
We're going.
Just in case.
Just in case. So, Poltergeist, 1982 supernatural horror film, directed by Tobe Hooper, written by Steven Spielberg, Michael Grace, and Mark Victor, from a story by Steven Spielberg. Film focuses on a suburban family whose home is invaded by malevolent ghosts that abduct their daughter. Apparently, Steven Spielberg wanted this to be a sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, I
up,
remember
really?
hearing that.
Yeah, but Toby Hooper was like, "No, I don't want to do any of that sci-fi shit. Let's just focus on some horror shit."
Yeah, let's just do some ghosts.
Yeah. And so that was that. And the only reason why Spielberg didn't direct it was because I think he was in the middle of directing E.T.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, that was when he was like his most active.
Yeah. So he was in the middle, and so like he couldn't do 2 films at once or whatever.
Pussy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. So I hadn't seen this movie before
Me either.
until we were tasked with watching this as research. Like, and it's crazy. Like I can see where all of the like horror like
It was a
crazy-
trendsetter.
Yeah. Like I mean, it was the 8th highest grossing film of 1982. It was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, named by the Chicago Film Critics Association as the 20th scariest film ever made, number 80 on Bravo's 100 Scariest Movie Moments, number 84 on the American Institute's 100 Years, 100 Thrills lists of like America's most heart-pounding movies.
Also, Academy Award for Best Music, Original Score, Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, Academy Award for Best Sound Editing, and the BAFTA Award for Best Special Visual Effects. Like, yeah, going back to what I said when we did our Alien episode, like, I wish I could have gone and seen this movie, like,
Oh my
when
god!
it came out.
Could you imagine how many people pissed pants?
A friend of mine, Tom, shout out to Tom Sherlock, he has a Twitch channel that's just called Movie Club, and he just shows movies. Like,
Nice.
he'll just log on, people will watch movies and like talk about them, but most of the time we end up just like mystery science theatering everything and just making fun of it. But yeah, he had Poltergeist on, and I caught the last half of it, and then that's when I was like, yeah, I should go rewatch this movie. And he said that he went and saw it. He was like 5 or 6, and he went and saw it, and he's like, fucked me up.
Nice.
Like, I pulled up a couple interesting facts about the movie.
Always down for fun facts.
Yeah. The Freeling's neighborhood was based on Spielberg's own neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
It's similar to an episode of The Twilight Zone called Little Girl Lost, which was about a little girl who goes into another dimension through her bedroom wall.
Like you do.
Poltergeist was inspired by the episode, but he never received any credit for it.
Huh.
Drew Barrymore auditioned to play Carol Ann,
Oh,
Nice.
which,
that would have been dope.
yeah. The actor who played Marty had quit acting to become a teacher. In the scene where Marty ripped off his own face, Spielberg ripped off the lifelike bust. He insisted that Spielberg do it because they only had the one bust, and he was worried that he would make a mistake and ruin it. Which that was a holy shit scene.
So that was and I know that seems like later in the movie, but that was the first scene that had me like, oh fuck, what the fuck?
Yeah, for real. The coolest thing that I read on this fact page is the chair stacking scene was done in one take.
Wow.
So you remember in the movie when she, pushes the chairs in, and she goes to get under the cupboard, and you can tell that the camera's just panning all in one take, and then she looks back, and all the chairs are stacked up. Like,
damn.
I don't know how they fucking did that.
With that piano chord, it was like,
yeah, that was insane.
They had like a pit crew do it.
Right?
The tree scene where Robbie was getting into the tree was shot backwards.
Oh, okay.
So he was actually spit out, not swallowed up by the tree. But
Dude, that's
the shot.
dope. That's really dope because I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually shit like that's kind of obvious.
Yeah, but it like even now though, like the part where the house gets swallowed up, like at the end where the house swallows itself and like implodes.
Yeah.
Like even now, that visually is really impressive.
Yeah.
And I love the scene where they open up when the investigators get there, and they open up Carol Ann's door, and there's all that stuff floating around, and you're like, you can very obviously tell that was CGI with the stuff floating
Right.
around.
Yeah.
Right. But back in the day,
But for then, yeah, like
Back in the day, that
Yeah.
was the shit.
yeah.
that was one of the things that I had about it was like had I seen this movie back in the day, like when I was growing up,
To shit your fucking pants.
I'd have
bro.
fucking shit my pants.
Piss out my ass.
Piss out my ass.
I don't know if this is gonna be a detriment to the movie's
Legacy.
everlasting legacy. But so I had never seen this movie before, but I knew every single beat of it. And do you know why?
Why?
Because Family Guy does an episode
Oh,
that
yeah.
is 100% beat for beat this fucking movie.
Yeah.
So I knew every scary
He
moment
finds the
before it happened.
thing in his backyard, right?
Family Guy had some very rare moments where it was really good at preserving older classic stuff like that. Like it does it with a few movies, and it has a pretty great version of it with the Star Wars movies as well.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
It's just kind of like a sleeper. Like, you know, it's not just crude ass jokes.
He finds like the skull, and it's like his friend or whatever, and he like talks to him.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And Herbert is the pervert.
Was it Joe?
No, it was Peter.
No, the skull.
Oh no, it was just like a random Indian skull.
Yeah, it's
okay.
like in the Family Guy episode, it's instead of just a cemetery, it's like an Indian burial ground.
Gotcha.
So there's a gag where he has the head of a chieftain. Basically, it's kind of insensitive, really, when you think about it. But
it is Family Guy.
but Herbert the pervert is he's like hanging out in the tree,
Yeah.
and he's like spying on Chris. Yeah, that was a fucking great episode of Family Guy.
It was.
I'll have to find that.
So this movie is really wholesome and really entertaining in weird ways because it's really cool in the beginning of the movie just to watch this family just be. You know what I mean? Like it like shows all the friends coming over for the football game, and like they get in like to a war between sharing the antenna for the TV. Like the kid and the neighbors is watching a TV show, but they want to be watching the game, and it reminded me of like how fucking weird that was.
It's the two dads that are like fighting because like they each have the remote and they're changing each other's TV.
But they're sharing the cable.
Yeah.
And it's like that was something that it's not necessarily something that you forget, but it was like, holy fuck, we actually did do that.
And
Yeah.
we had
It was
to do
funny
that.
because I just ended up because initially I said I found it on YouTube with ads, and when I went to go watch it, like it wasn't there, so I just swallowed my pride and I just rented it for like the $3 or whatever.
That was like
on
$4.
Prime.
Yeah.
And
It was worth it.
It was on HBO Max.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I was watching it and I would like pause it to go to the bathroom, and it was the scene where the friend is coming over and he like gets like laughed at by the kids because he trips on his bike or whatever with all the beer. And it had the people in the scene at the bottom for Amazon, you know how it says. And I was like, I know that name from somewhere. And I went and did my sleuthing on IMDb, and that guy that brought the beer in plays Hitchcock on Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, crazy.
And I was like, dude, Hitchcock is in Poltergeist, man. But one of my favorite funny scenes from that is when they're watching the game and it switches to Mr. Rogers, and the one guy's like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's moments of it just being kind of like a wholesome family movie where it's just like going through the lives of this family, and it's just a really cute.
And the parents are like in their bedroom smoking
Yeah.
weed and
Yeah.
Right, like just like, it's very much a product of its time.
Oh,
like
yeah.
as you can
Like
tell.
when it first switches to them, and I can't remember the guy's name, so I'll just call him Coach because that's where I know him from.
Yeah.
It's that old show Coach. He's like, I'm like, he's rolling a joint. Okay. Hell yeah, dude.
There's also that one moment where the daughter leaves the house and the construction workers are
Yeah.
catcalling
Oh,
yeah.
this fucking teenager, and the mom's in the back like,
Like,
oh,
oh,
those
no
guys.
way.
Yeah.
Boys
Silly
will be
boys.
boys.
What a wild time.
Right?
That scene at the end when they're spoiler alert on a 30-year-old movie, when they're pulling into the hotel, that sign on the Holiday Inn that says Dr. Fantasy and Friends was the producer. Frank Marshall's stage name was Dr. Fantasy, and he did a little magic show at the end of every movie's production. So he was actually, that was for him after the movie ended, which I thought was cool. They also say here that her name was on the show was Tangina, but her name was Zelda Rubinstein, and she only worked for 6 days for as long as she was in that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then, let's see, the imploding house scene was a 6-foot wide model.
Okay.
It took 4 months to create. Thick wires were attached inside the model and pulled into a funnel, with the model placed over the funnel and the camera shooting downward.
That's even more impressive,
Yeah.
dude.
That's
Like,
fucking crazy.
because I thought that was CG.
It's just like, work with, like, another, like...
That's gotta go.
Yeah. God damn it. But it's just like a product of, like, work with what you have, Like,
That's fucking amazing.
like, and I haven't seen it yet, but they did apparently redo Poltergeist in 2013.
It's awful. It's really bad.
Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, it's really bad.
What? Oh man, I love Sam
I know.
Rockwell. That sucks.
And I'm just thinking, like, okay, in 2013, you could easily make that scene, like, in hours.
Yeah, they made that movie like a parody. It's
Oof.
yeah, it's like a complete betrayal of what the original movie is.
And then, yeah, apparently there's still confusion over whether Spielberg actually directed the movie or not. It says he was not allowed to direct both Poltergeist and E.T., but he was on the Poltergeist set often, leading many to speculate that he was secretly directing the movie himself. Let's see.
I see that influence. I see that like
Yeah.
E.T. Spielberg type influence.
Oh,
on
absolutely.
This movie. Yeah.
And then I made this joke when we tried to record this. What was it, like 2 days after, like, I had initially watched it when we were going to do the recording, and the mixer board got fucked up. So I'm like, oh shit, this movie really is cursed, and because some believe that the movie is cursed because Heather O'Rourke, who played Carol Ann, died at the age of 12 of cardiac arrest. So before coming from a misdiagnosed intestinal stenosis before Poltergeist 3 was released. Dominic Dunn, who played Dana, the daughter, was murdered by her ex-boyfriend 5 months after the film release.
Holy shit.
Julian Beck, who played Kane in the sequel, which I haven't seen, but died of cancer while shooting the film. He was aware of his condition when he signed up. Will Sampson, who played Taylor in the sequel, died of kidney failure a year after the film's release. All of these deaths have led to a rumor that the production was haunted on account of the prop master reportedly using actual skeletons.
Oh fuck.
So that scene when the mom falls into the hole dug for the pool and all the skeletons are coming up, rumored that those were actual skeletons.
No shit.
Yeah.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
I know, right?
That'd be
Like,
fucking dope.
there was a movie that I read about that supposedly, like, it was a movie about, like, a haunted morgue or something like that, like somebody interning to be, like, a mortician, but they supposedly used, like, filmed at an actual morgue with, like, actual cadavers.
Wow.
Are you thinking of The Haunting in Connecticut?
Maybe. I don't know.
Was that filmed in a real... That movie fucked me up as a kid.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
Yeah, but yeah, this movie, like, I don't know, like, I had seen it once, like, years ago, and then I just must have, like, purged it from my memory, and then I watched, like, the last half of it on my friend's stream, and I was like, I gotta go back and watch, like, the rest of this.
Yeah.
And,
Well, and the whole "they're here" line, like, is one of the most iconic movie lines of all time.
Yeah.
like, some of the, and going back to, like, some of the CGI in that movie, like, made in 82, like, especially the part when they are about to pull her out at the end and the rope is coming out of the ceiling. Like, that was an impressive CGI right there.
Well, you got to give it to him. It's industrial light and magic.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Big wigs.
big boys. Practical effects masters.
Or the scene when all of the stuff in her room, just like when she gets pulled in the closet and all starts piling up on the floor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great movie. What were your guys' say most squeamish moment?
I didn't really have a squeamish moment, but I had a whole lot of like, oh, that like I wonder if they took that. I wonder if this show or this director was inspired by this moment, or like you said, Eddie, earlier, the product of its time, like the cat calling and the weed smoking. I was like, wow. I didn't really have like a squeamish moment.
I didn't either, because like I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm like numb to a lot of stuff lately.
Just desensitized.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. But like, there's not a lot of stuff that I'll see in a movie that will make me go, oh, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Eddie said earlier, the part where he's, you know, scratching his face off as a hallucination, I was kind of like, oh shit.
That's the one for me. Is the face pulling part, because like you could tell, of course, that it's just a bust that's having its face pulled out, but even then, it's like, ooh, shit!
Like it's for that time, it's like real enough to where you're just like, oh fuck, dude.
So I did actually have a squeamish part. The rotten food and the bugs.
Oh,
because that's like
Yeah.
a genuine fear of mine.
See, I mean, I was gonna say that too, just because, like, I don't know, I just find that shit really gross.
But I love the part when the dad comes home and the mom has, like, you know, discovered there might be something in the house, and she's got like a whole thing set up in the kitchen. She's like, watch this, and she like puts the helmet on her, and like she gets like set across the kitchen.
yeah.
And then she's like, you try it, and he's just like,
fuck
what
no.
the fuck is going on?
Yeah, for her to have been so casually
Yes.
enamored by all of this.
That's like probably something I would have done. Like, oh my god, like, what can we do now?
Nah, I would have burned the house down and left.
I'd have just left. I'd be like, y'all could fucking have it.
I'd have just
I'd have
backed
pulled
away
out
slowly.
pulled out my equipment and been like, is there someone here with us?
I really like the whole reveal of everything, of why this is happening here, why this is the thing. The fact that it was just paved over a graveyard where they didn't move the bodies.
You son of a bitch! You moved the headstones, but not the bodies.
Yeah, let me piggyback off of you here for this, because this is my favorite part of the movie as well. It's not. I don't really have a squeamish moment. The closest gets to the mirror, but again, it was kind of ruined because Family Guy did it again, and so like the whole time I was thinking, thinking about Peter just ripping his fat off his face.
That episode's called Poltergeist.
Poltergeist. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Of course it is.
I found it. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go home and watch it.
Another name that I just thought of that would have been funny, Family Geist.
Yeah, well,
Poltergeist,
yeah,
yeah.
Totally.
So I struggle to say that the movie is really scary. I don't want to say that it is definitely a product of its time. If the young boy's room wasn't an indication of that,
Right.
I thought it was really funny that he had the original Alien poster on it, the one that says "In space, no one can hear you scream."
Right.
That's
It was also
really
he was
great
reading
poster.
Captain America before he was going to bed that one night.
Yeah, you was.
I was like, I was like, I think I made didn't I make a joke when we were watching? I was like, oh, Eddie's probably fucking like, yeah, Captain America.
Good boy.
It's volume 7 of Captain America. I don't think it's really that scary, but it still has like its moments where you have to respect it because it really did set some trends. And it's like, if more memorable moments came out of this movie, and you can tell because it's like all over cinema culture now. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean, like that scene where she's being thrown around the room by the poltergeist, of course, scary movie. Where
and not Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street.
yeah.
Oh, they also Scary Movie also parodies the clown pulling the kid under the bed. Remember that in Scary Movie when it's the dude's dick wrapped around his neck?
Oh, Jesus.
When I was watching it, I was like, that's what I was like, oh my God, dude, this is what Scary Movie was making fun of. Because when I saw Scary Movie, I had no idea.
But yeah, so many cultural references.
That's what's really cool about it. Like, and like, it only adds to its legacy of like, and I can't tell. I'm sure Spielberg was pretty cool with like, the jokes and shit over the years. Like, you know what I mean? I can't imagine he would be upset about something like that. But like, it just goes to show like how much staying power it has.
It really does. It's definitely an iconic piece of cinema that is even now, still referenced, still parodied, and it just goes to show Steven Spielberg the GOAT.
Yeah. One of them. Yeah.
Movies that, like horror movies that were made back then aren't really going to be scary now. But I'll say one of my favorite old horror movies still to this day is the original Candyman.
Oh, fuck
and
yeah,
I will
dude.
say that movie is one of the movies that, like, when I first saw it, like, actually, like, I think I first saw it when I was in high school is when I watched it, and I watched it and I was just like, fuck, dude.
Bro, I watched that movie like last year and it fucked me.
Yeah.
It fucked with me. But I hold Poltergeist in like the same region as The Exorcist, where it was like when The Exorcist came out, it was probably fucking horrifying for people.
Oh yeah,
Horrifying.
Well, I mean, this was one of those movies where the test subject or the test crowd or whatever they call it was like fainting and
the test audience.
Yeah, the test audience. Thank you. Yeah, like I'm sure like.
So yeah, it's like the face tearing off moment wouldn't really land in 2022, 2023, but I can guarantee it landed in
82.
In 82.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So there is a website called Does the Dog Die? For like movies. And the second I saw that dog on screen, I said, Cole, like, pause it right now. And so I looked it up.
It was paused for like 15 minutes while we fucking researched this shit.
Because I was like, we're not watching it if that happens. Or we have to, like, find the parents' guide and skip, like, past that. And it says, yes, Birdie dies. And I was like...
Is the dog Birdie?
Well...
Yeah, is the dog's name Birdie?
Well, so I was like, oh, fuck, yeah. Canary. Yes, Canary dies. And I was like, oh, fuck, we have to skip it. Like, where is the skip? But then, I just glanced over it. And so I'm, like, looking for this, like, skip part. And then I go back to read it again. And then I was like, the canary dies. I'm okay with the Tweety bird dying. But if the dog's name is Canary, no.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I love how this movie, like, throws you for a loop because, they feel like, it makes you think, oh, they've taken care of everything, everything is good. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, like, the kid's getting attacked by the clown and the mom's getting thrown around and it's just like, oh shit, this movie's not over yet. Like, I love that because when I first saw it, I was like, okay. And then I was like, wait a minute, there's like 30 minutes left.
Yeah.
Like, they can't end this shit now.
If I had a criticism, it would be that it does overstay its welcome a little bit. There's some moments where it's like,
Yeah, the pacing gets kind of...
Yeah, it's not, like, super offensive. Like, it's fine. I just think you could probably shave, like, 15, 20 minutes off this movie, and you would be totally great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it would still hold its salt.
It's got a very good, lighthearted comedic ending when they get into the hotel and he just throws the TV out of the room.
I did love that.
Yeah.
That's a classic, like, 80s send-off,
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this might have been normal back in the 80s, late 70s when they were filming it, you know what I mean? But the acting in this movie is sometimes a little over the top.
Oh, yeah.
Honey, mommy doesn't want you to go into the light. Don't go into the light. Don't go into the light. Like she was like fucking shaking.
Or the part where he's yelling at the development guy. He's like, "You didn't move the bodies." He's
Yeah. When
he says it like
you
6
didn't
times.
move the bodies.
Yeah.
You didn't move the bodies. Like
To be fair, I'd be pretty fucking pissed too because like
Right.
the whole
Yeah, but,
the
like,
whole
it's also
conversation.
hammy, though.
I get it. Yeah, the conversation beforehand was like he had no idea, right?
Yeah.
The dad had no idea that this scummy guy had done that shit, because he was asking him to do it for this next plot of land. He was like, "Oh, no big deal. We'll just move the headstones and we'll move the bodies.
He's like,
all good."
Yeah. He's like, "We did it for down there."
And that's the big, huge reveal at the end of the movie where he's like grabbing him. He's like, "You didn't move. You moved the fucking headstones, but not the bodies." And it's like, "Oh, fuck, you did it here too." And that's,
He kind of mentioned it when he was up on the hill talking to him, and he's like, "Wait, you're just gonna move everything here?" He's like, "Yeah, we did it. We did it on the last project too."
Did he?
Which is where he lives, but.
Yeah, I don't know. It was funny to me though. Like I thought it didn't take away from the immersion, but it was just one of those like quick pop outs where I was like, oh, this was the direction we liked. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's it seemed like they were also working with kids too, and it's not super popular or well-known actors at that time, I would imagine. I know that the dad has been in other things, but I didn't recognize the mom at all.
No.
Craig T. Nelson was like,
I mentioned him as coach because he had his. That was his big thing. He was in that sitcom.
and that motherfucker looks like he's been old his whole life.
I know, right?
Even in this movie.
Yeah, like he looked younger, but he still looked like he was in his fucking 40s or
Yeah.
some shit.
Yeah.
Like that motherfucker don't age.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna mention that when you mentioned The Exorcist, I had seen that movie like out of high school, and I was like, I mean, I get it, but
Really?
it does nothing for me.
You didn't think it was scary at all?
I mean, it was scary, but it like wasn't like
Like,
I hadn't just seen Hereditary. Scary.
Now, remind me, because it's been a while. The Exorcist is the one where we're following the priest, and the priest's mom had died, right? And that's what the ghost, the demon uses that against the
your
priest.
mother
Like,
sucks.
your mother sucks cocks in hell. Yeah. Okay, so that movie, we watched that movie when we lived in our previous home on the island. And that movie fucked with me, like, really hard. I remember watching that movie and feeling like, this has got bad fucking vibes.
Was that
like,
the
all
one
over it.
where you made me go around the house and lock all the windows?
That was the Babadook.
Baba Yaga.
Yeah, he made me go alone.
Baba Duke.
Duke.
Yeah, it's Bob, Duke. It's fucking,
Yeah.
dude, the Babadook was fucking scary.
Yeah, you made me go around to like each room by myself while you hid in the bedroom with the dogs.
Baba Duke gave us some great,
You big pussy.
gave us some great memes though.
I heard
Like,
shit on the outside and it was fucking with me, okay? Fuck off.
He's like, "Will you close the window and lock it?"
There was, there were noises in our fucking backyard and it was fucking with me hard.
I was like, "It's so hot. You're joking."
That is.
I'm like, we are going to sweat because I am too scared to
I would rather sweat than die.
Yeah.
I remember when that movie came out, the memes that came out where it was like, it was the scene where the mom's like losing it and like yelling at the kid in the back and like, why can't you be normal?
Yeah.
And it was her yelling at the kid, but over her face it said Europe, and she was yelling at the kid who had the USA over his face. Like, why can't you be normal? And then the kid's just like screaming.
Autistic screeching. Yeah.
Wow.
Got him.
My God.
Oh God.
That's the meme. It was
Yeah.
like
That's
the
yeah.
kid's not saying anything. It just says in quotation, autistic screeching.
No, I mean, he's like screaming, but yeah, the movie, if you have subtitles on, it actually says that if
Really?
you're watching the movie. Yeah.
That makes it even better because that makes it official.
Best thing ever. So, final ratings. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Derek, what do you think?
I would give it a solid 4.
Yeah. Okay. Nick?
I would go 4.5.
Just to one up me.
Yeah, just a fuck you to Derek.
Gotta get your jabs in.
Rewatching this movie made me realize that how much I loved it, and it basically another big reason I loved it is because it has, the paranormal investigation team come over and do their thing, and I'm just
Very relatable.
I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I do that stuff, and the scene where they like catch the light like moving down the stairs, when
Right,
very
right,
end, and I'm just like, bro, if we saw something like that,
One day.
we'd be losing our fucking minds.
One day, I'ma have it one day.
I give this movie a 3.5. It is an icon. It is a phenom, monument epitomizing greatness in design, right? Like I love everything about this movie. Had I seen this movie in its time, I think it would be a perfect 5 for me.
Mm-hmm.
But from where I'm just seeing this now in 2022, it really doesn't hit me as much.
Yeah.
There were pacing problems. There
Right.
were, the acting was a little over the top for me. And those are things that I can't fault the movie for. But as far as my movie watching experience, it was pretty mid for me.
I think I'll echo most of that. 3.5, 4. Most of this is going to come down to subjectivity and not necessarily how scary you think it is, but like how good of a movie it is. And I would say that it's kind of in a different direction from what I hold as like the classic horror cinema. But like, for example, like just like Alien. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like a classic piece of cinema. And I feel like this one is that as well. I just don't think that like its moments hold as much water.
Right.
Even though like I definitely do think it has like a very special place in cinema history. So
Absolutely.
it's a great fucking movie. It just doesn't do like a whole lot for me in terms of
Exactly.
like I with my horror movies, like I want it to be either like really, really smart or like really fucking horrifying.
Right.
And it's a pretty hard middle ground to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
And coincidentally, A24 has hit those marks so far.
Yeah. Dude, no joke though. But I am unrealistically harsh on horror movies.
Well,
like
and I don't know about Nick, but like part of my rating is definitely the nostalgia of it for me.
yeah.
Right. I just thought that for its time there wasn't really like a movie based on Poltergeist, which in German Poltergeist means angry ghost, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't really any other, like, because there'd been zombie movies and there'd been like Living Dead movies, but you didn't really have a movie about a poltergeist. So that's why I was like, oh, okay, they're really kind of...
It was one of the first.
Yeah, kind of reinventing the wheel, I guess, maybe.
Angela?
If this movie was a walking entity, I would give it a high 5, and then if I saw it again, I would hit it with the duck and run.
There we go. Making no sense as always. Thank you, Angela. Well, that concludes our Poltergeist episode. We hope you enjoyed it. As always, you can follow us on social media.
On Facebook at the Nerd Corporation, a podcast.
On Twitter and Instagram at Nerdcore Podcast.
Or you can shoot us an email at nerdcourtpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel Search the Nerd Corporation. Look out for our green Nerd Corp logo.
If you love us and want to support what we do, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/nerdcorppodcast. Several tiers of loot to have access to, from stickers and shirts to extra content and bonus episodes. We'd like to thank our Nerd Corporate backers, Glenn the Simp and Jake Hurst, and our Nerd Financial investors, Kim Nichols and Dallin Gilbert.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dallin.
Board.
So, from all of us here at the Nerd Corporation, we thank you. We love you. And keep it nerdy, y'all.
Thanks.